Good morning. Welcome to Home Built Workshop. Welcome to Wednesday Live. This is the, of course, YouTube edition. For those of you that may not be familiar, I do a live stream every week, alternating between YouTube right here and Facebook. So this is YouTube week. So what's going on? Welcome to the shop. I hope you guys are doing amazing. I hope your week is going awesome. We are in full swing around here with the Great Guitar Build-Off project. That's what I've been focusing on, trying to get all the finish wrapped up so that it can start curing and we can move on and do some other projects. So what are you guys working on? What's going on in your world? Get these comments here. There we go. All right. It says welcome to live chat. Alrighty. What are you guys up to today? We'll jump into the Great Guitar Build-Off here shortly. As I'm sure you could see if you saw the thumbnail for the live, we got some finish sprayed around here. And I got a little bit more of that to do, which we'll get to shortly. Gina's here. Gina says, hi all. Hello and welcome. I hope your day is going good. And there's Harry Dude. Harry Dude says, dude, greetings. Got a couple of my own guitars on the bench. Getting ready for a gig on Friday. Oh man, that's awesome. What kind of gig do you have going on? That's so cool. You're able to get a gig going on. That's awesome. That's something that I haven't done. And man, it's been over a year since I've been on a stage. We got some coffee. We're settled in. Oh, that's good. That's cool. Yeah, that's one thing that I've noticed that I'm starting to miss, actually. Playing a show. Whether it's cover band stuff or original band stuff, I kind of miss the performance. Yeah, we'll see how things go here this year, and maybe we can get out and do something. I don't know. Even just some acoustic stuff, that'd be kind of fun too. Harry Dude, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So, Great Guitar Build-Off 2021. Here's where we're at. We are in the finishing stage. Shiny. Except, look, you can see right there. Look at that. I got a sag. Darn it. I was going for the last coat of finish, and I wanted it to lay out nice and flat, so I put on a little bit of a heavy coat, and look what happened. Look what happened. Look at that. Darn it. That's okay. I'm going to end up blocking this out and probably respraying another coat or two over top of that. But that is, look at that grain. Don't mind the ugly sag right there. It's coming along cool. I can't wait to get this all polished up. But oh well, these things happen. Sometimes they get a little heavy-handed with the spray gun, and you know, a nice heavy coat, not too heavy, obviously. A nice heavy coat will help it lay out nice and flat. And yeah, whoops. These things happen from time to time. That's okay. We just I'm just gonna go back in, block sand this out nice and flat, lightly, and we'll just reshoot over top of that. Not a big deal. Definitely something that we can fix. It's just unfortunate that I had to do it. It's not the end of the world. But overall, I am super happy. Same thing with the body. I got a little sag on the body as well. Yeah. Ah, darn it. Anyway, Harry Dude says, doing a covers gig, been 13 months between gigs, time for new strings. That's awesome. What kind of covers are you playing? Like what genre? And what kind of bands? Name some. Philip says, slick, brother. Right on. Thank you. Except for the little run. Happens to the best of us, right? I don't claim to be a professional painter. I usually have to... I don't use the spray gun quite so much, so I'm a little bit out of practice. I used to do a fair amount when I lived back east. My dad owns a painting business, painting heavy equipment, and he used to paint tons and tons of cars, still does, and my brother is a professional painter. That's what he does for a living, and I'm always having to pick his brain when I'm having issues. He's the one who should be doing this, but unfortunately, he's nowhere nearby. KK says, love from Greece. Hello to everybody. Hello, my friend. How are you? How's things in Greece? Hope you're doing amazing. Gina's laughing at me there because of the run in my clear. Thanks a lot. She says, bah, ha, ha, ha. Philip says, what's the wood? This is quilted maple. This is obviously the control plate cover. The guitar top is quilted maple, and then the body is mahogany. But this piece of wood that it's stuck to is just a scrap piece of elm. I was having trouble. I had this hanging from a wire, and of course it's hard to hold it still when you're spraying because the air from the spray gun wants to blow it all over the place. But I already got a couple of coats on the back, so I thought, well, I'll just double-sided tape it to a piece of wood. Then I don't need to worry about the back now. And it actually worked out pretty good. It gives me a little bit of, I can hold on to it if I need to. But yeah, elm, that's not part of the project, but quilted maple, and then the top of the guitar is the same. Pretty awesome. Giovanni says, Jeff, what's up, Giovanni? How are you this fine Wednesday? Philip says, how's everyone doing today? Giovanni says, ciao, Gina. Ciao. Ciao, Giovanni. KK, yeah. KK's here. Right on. Thank you. I definitely appreciate it. Philip says, it is what it is. Got to try or you'll never learn. That's it right there. You hit the nail on the head. Stuff like this, even though spraying is not something I do often anymore, yeah, you can't be afraid of it. You just got to go for it. And the good thing is that it's just the clear. So you can sand the clear as long as you don't get down into the color, which on top of this little run right here, there's like 4 or 5 other coats of clear. So I will have no problem going back in with a good flat sanding block and leveling this out. Actually, I'll probably level the whole thing and get back in there, spray another coat on there, and it'll be just fine. Stuff like that, you just can't be afraid to do it. As I was preparing, getting the spray gun out and everything, I kind of get a little bit nervous. Some of those tasks that you don't do too often, which spraying is one of them. And you just got to start spraying and go for it. Can't let it stop you. Because every time something like this happens, you learn. Just like you said, Philip. Perfect. Let's see here. We got a hi. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. My apologies for that. Tips and review says hi. Hello, welcome to Wednesday Live. Giovanni, but this always speaks because it doesn't work during live shows. Gina says that elm looks kind of cool. It does look kind of neat. This was a scrap from the little shelf that I did recently. This was some epoxy in here, and of course it's there's a little burl thingy here, and it does look kind of cool. Not sanded finally, but yeah, it's just a scrap. Making Sawdust says, hello, Jeff and folks. Good morning from a very spring-like Wyoming. I'm hanging out in the dungeon pretending to be at work. Well, I'm glad you stopped by. I'm glad to hear things are well up there. Did you guys get a colder snap the last couple of days? Because we sure did down here. Yesterday, a little bit of rain and thunder, and not a lot of rain, but a few sprinkles, and some thunder and lightning. It was kind of nice, but not the greatest weather for spring. Today it's cold and windy, not super cold. We're like 30s, upper 30s right now, but it's nice and warm in here at the moment, so I don't think I'll have any problem when it comes to respraying this. So. Steven says, good morning all. What's up, Steven? How are you this fine morning? Harry Dude says, doing all sorts of songs from Katy Perry to AC/DC, Metallica, Creedence, Pink, ZZ Top, INXS. Nice. Sounds kind of like maybe an 80s, 90s kind of mix. Would that be about right? Sounds like a good mix of tunes right there. I'd come watch if I was anywhere nearby, for sure. KK says to the Harry Dude, yeah, with you, bro. Nice. Gina says, turn it into a cutting board. This piece? That'd be like a super tiny cutting board. I don't know, I guess you could. It'd be super small. I don't know about elm as a cutting board. I suppose it could work. At least this piece is kind of got some holes and pits and probably get residue in there. I don't know. I thought about it. Steven says, going nuts trying to install Windows XP for a legacy application. I haven't installed XP in a while, but is it different? Like, is it not letting you do that anymore, or what? I know it's out of service, and well, even I did install, let's see, Windows 7 on a machine 6-8 months ago, something like that. And of course, I got 8,000 warnings. Your system is out of service or out of support or whatever. Yeah, I like Windows 7, but I also liked XP. Now we're on 10, and yeah, 10's okay. I think. I mean, let's see, Gina. Well, bummer. Making Sawdust. We had a forecast of thunder snow a few days ago. Strong cold front mixed with some warmer crap. Makes a lot of moisture. A really cold thunderstorm that makes snow is weird. About 45. Yes, we had. When did we have that snow? Last week. We had snow. We had that grapple. The little snowballs, and yeah, it was very strange. Steven says it does, but it's horrible to get the network up and running. Ah. KK, snow? 34C here in Greece. What is 34C? I'm bad at that. Hang on. Ugh. Oh man, you are warm. Really? Wow, you're like 90 degrees almost here, Fahrenheit. Wow. I think we're supposed to be around up into the 80s, or at least 80, upper 70s to 80 this weekend, I think, or the end of the week. I'm not sure. Wow, that's great. Giovanni says, Jeff, am I the only one who shares your videos and posts? You are not, my friend. And I appreciate every share. I appreciate when anyone shares the videos. So there's some others that share them. But you probably share the most. KK, yeah. Philip, 70s to 80s today in Lancaster. Nice. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice weather. 70s to 80s, I'm happy with that. You don't have to bundle up, but it's not too hot to where we're complaining it's too hot. Or at least me. Harry Dude says 34 degrees. I'm jealous. Getting into winter here. Yeah, you're gonna be coming into it. Harry Dude, I think I asked before, or maybe you mentioned it. How cold does it typically get there? Like, what's the coldest temperature normally in the wintertime where you are? Giovanni, did you get vaccinated? Yeah, haven't gone down that road yet. Nelson, hello from Portugal. Welcome from Portugal. Hope you're doing good. Thanks for tuning in. KK says, I like winter, hairy dude. I don't mind winter. The only problem is, for me, really, it's just hard to get work done when it gets so cold. Other than that, I enjoy winter. I like the snow. I like being outside playing in the snow. And yeah, it's just the cold temperatures makes it hard to work. Or makes it challenging to work, I guess we should say. Philip says, we always complaining about something. At least I do. Yeah, I'm with you. It's too cold, we complain. It's too hot, we complain. I'm with you on that. I am guilty. Yep. It seems there's always something. But I don't know. I think if I had to choose, I would always take the warmer weather. I don't know. Yeah, I go back and forth on that. Work-wise, I'd take the warmer weather. Other than that, I'm not sure if I would. Send pack in. Good morning, Jeff and everyone. What is up, man? Giovanni, your hat's wrong. Fix it a little. Sorry. How's that? Look, I got some schmutz on there. I don't know what that is. Oh well. It's almost time for a new hat. I've had this thing for a lot of years. There. Better? Can't have a crooked hat. What's up with that? Is that better, Giovanni? Buddy's here. Buddy says, yeah, made it. Right on, buddy. How are things going up there in your neck of the woods? You guys cold this morning? Some snow, maybe? I don't know. We got a lot of wind and cooler temperatures for sure. Giovanni says, okay. Oh, do you guys remember, I don't know if you were in that discussion, what was it, maybe a month, 2 months ago, we were talking about spraying, and we talked about using a tent as a spray booth. Do you guys remember that conversation? You may have been in that live stream. I tried it. I sprayed the first coats on these parts in a tent, and I thought it was going to work better than it did. Maybe it's just the particular tent that I use. It's a large tent, and it just didn't work as great as I thought. Maybe the design, maybe more of if I didn't have enough room inside to really get around. And also there's some vents at the top that don't have a zipper closure, so you can't completely close it off. The wind was blowing through there and blowing dust right on top of the guitar body. So that is that is an issue that I had with the tent as a spray booth. I think that if the tent would have closed off a little bit more, it probably would have worked better. But I don't know why I was having trouble. The sides were flapping in with the wind, and dust was blowing in the top, and I just didn't have a lot of room to move around. Although I can barely stand up in the center, it didn't work as well as I was hoping. But I think we'll still squeak a little bit of that footage in the video, the next episode of the Great Guitar Build-Off, just so you guys can see. But I definitely tried it. In fact, the tent's half blown down right now. I need to get that thing packed up today, hopefully, before it completely takes off like a kite. But I tried it, and I think I still feel that it has the potential to maybe work. It just didn't work great with this particular tent. Maybe I need a different style, a different kind, one that seals off a little better. Probably would have been a better choice, but we tried it anyway. Making Sawdust says, I do. You remember that conversation. Harry Dude says here in Melbourne, you can get down to 6 degrees Celsius overnight. 6 degrees. That's not that bad. That's, you're like upper 30s Fahrenheit. I don't think that's too bad. Although it's, it's no 80 or 90. It's no 35 Celsius, or something like that. But if it only got to the upper 30s here, it'd be, to me, that's pretty mild. But we're, we can get down to we can get down to minus 30 Celsius. I've seen 19 to 20 below Fahrenheit here. That's not too bad. At least you don't really get like the super frigid freezing temperatures. Sam Packin says, I have still wear my oldest granddaughter gave me 20 years ago. Cool. Yep, this one I've had it for a long time. Mr. Dobo says, Jeff. Philip says, I missed that stream. Yeah, I don't remember if it was a month or, it was at least a month ago. Might have been, it's probably closer to 2 months or so. And yeah, we were chatting about, I don't even know how it came up, using the tent. I don't know if I was talking about this project or, I don't know. Buddy says, I just got home Friday, been in North Dakota. Brr. Nice. It does sound cold up there right now. I don't know if it is, but it sounds cold. I've never been to North Dakota. Or South Dakota, really. I think the farthest up I've been is Wyoming. I've been in Wyoming a time or two, but I'm glad you were able to make it, buddy. Giovanni says, when will you make a guitar entirely in resin? That's been on my mind a little bit, just to try it. It sounds like it would be super heavy, and it probably would be, but it's definitely something that I kind of want to experiment with. Philip says, I hate that. Finishing with dust blowing around makes me angry. Yes, me too. Thankfully, I got everything, when I sprayed that first coat in the tent, and it was able to dry enough to where the dust was not embedded in the finish, so kind of lucked out there, but I was worried when I first saw all the dust in there. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to finish that in here. So I came inside, which in here doesn't work too great either, but it's better than, you don't have the wind blowing around. I ran the air filter for a while, kind of tried to blow everything off that I could. I even misted some water onto the floor to kind of keep down dust. Tried to do what I could to reduce the amount of dust that was in here. And so far, really, I haven't seen any issues. Zach says, where do you spray? How do you keep your parts clean while spraying? Well, like I was just talking about. I tried first, something that we talked about in an earlier live stream a month or two ago, was using a tent as a spray booth. So I experimented with that on this, on some of these parts for my great guitar build-off. Tried using a large, I think it's an 8 or 10 man tent, and due to the design of the tent, I was still getting dust blowing in, so that didn't work out great. So I ended up spraying the rest of them here in the shop, which I don't like to do because I still don't have a lot of space to really get around the parts, but I do have more than I had in this little tent. I tried to do what I could to mitigate dust, open up the doors. I blew everything off with an air hose as best I could, let it air out. I have a little shop-built air filter. I had that running for a while, and a little bit of mist on the floor to kind of keep dust from raising as if I'm walking around. And I just try to do what I can to clean up and get it as dust-free as possible. Now, I do a lot of woodworking and stuff in here, so there's just dust. There's not a whole lot you can do about it, unless you have room to have like a dedicated spray room, which I unfortunately don't. So I just have to deal with what I have and try to do the best I can. I try to move very slow and carefully and make sure that I'm trying to be as careful as I can to not bump into stuff which may knock something over and stir up a bunch of dust. I keep the windows, everything closed as much as I can. I just don't want any breezes to stir up dust. And you know, you can't eliminate it 100%, but you know, if you're careful and kind of pay attention, you know, you can do pretty good. I've got a few specks in here that I think, I mean, it's going to sand out. I'm going to level sand this before I spray another coat. And, you know, unless it's like a big fly or something like that, it's really not an issue. At least not a super bad issue. So really, I don't do a whole lot to keep them clean, other than, you know, just trying to mitigate the dust that I stir up. KK to Giovanni. KK is in Melbourne, love to Australia. Gina says the tent's 20 years old, I'm still standing. It's not really standing right now. One side is still up, but the wind's been beating on it like all night and all morning. It's looking pretty sad right now. Steven says, did you ever 3D print the piece for sanding curves that we were... This guy? The sanding block? This was the first one I did. I've done a couple revisions. If this is the thing you're referring to, the radius sanding block. I've done a couple revisions and I need to print another one, but really, I think it's going to work fine. Is that the thing you're talking about, the radius sanding block? Look, it's all dusty. Oh, great. I don't need to stir up any more dust right now. Zach says, North Dakota can be great. 70s here today. Oh, nice. We are supposed to have that in a few days, I guess. Jay Hammer says, what kind of tent did you try? This is... I don't know what kind it is. It's an 8-man, 10-man tent, and 8-man tent. It's not a. It's more of a summer tent. It doesn't like. There's some vents. Once you put the rain fly on, there's a couple of vents at the top that are screened, and you can't close those up. So I think if it was more of a all-season kind of tent. And you could completely close it up so the wind wouldn't blow through still, I think it would work better. But this one, I totally didn't even think about that, where it had those vents up there. And as soon as I got done spraying, the wind was blowing through and dust came right through the vents. But I feel like the idea is still valid, just not with this tent. Philip says, water on the floor. I've never heard of that, but it sounds absolutely brilliant. Pro tip. Actually, I can't take credit for that because my dad has been doing that since I can remember, even being just a little boy in the shop when he was, remember the garden hose, and he would just wet the floor, kind of the mist pattern, would dampen the floor, and it keeps you from stirring up dust when you're dragging your air hose around or you're walking back and forth. Back in the day, you didn't have to have a spray booth necessarily for painting cars, and he would just spray it in a garage. He had a big garage, his auto body shop, and with a water hose, it was a concrete floor. And I remember that, you know, he'd sweep and he'd blow the air off, and then he'd go in with the hose, wet the floor, and you know then move the car into position, and then proceed with spraying. So I just kind of pulled from that a little bit, and I just took my spray gun, which is half this now, and I'm using a water-based finish, and I just sprayed the water out, you know, around. I didn't soak the floor, but I gave it a little bit of moisture to kind of just help with dust. I don't want to soak it because, well, that'd be a mess, but yeah. So I got to credit my dad for that one because that one's not me. Gina says it's the 8-man tent, wanted one that could stand up in. Yes, 8-man. Thank you for confirming. Zach says, thanks for the tips. Looking to spray my first body real soon. Zach, what kind of finish are you planning on using? Do you have something in mind yet? Dastardly Dave! Sup, all? Sup, Dave? Sunpacking, what's the cost to make a sanding block like that? I don't know yet, to be 100% completely honest with you. I haven't got all the details worked out. Like I said, I've made a couple revisions. I need to do another test piece, make sure that the final version is A-okay. But I probably will. I do plan on probably slapping these up on the website. I'll be able to do all different kind of radius. I've got that built into my design file. So if I want a 7 1/4, I just punch in 7 1/4 and it'll automatically adjust it. Everything else will stay the same. But I do plan on listing these on the website soon, once I get these ironed out. So stay tuned. Dastardly Dave, your GGBO guitar is coming along nicely. Thanks, man. Here's the thing. Don't mind the little sag I got going on there. We're gonna fix that after. That's my job this afternoon. I got a little heavy-handed with the spray gun. Like I mentioned, I was getting ready. I was preparing it as it was going to be the final finish. So I wanted to lay on a nice heavy coat. So it laid out nice and smooth. It laid out pretty smooth and a little extra smooth over there. Oh well, we'll fix it. No big deal. Oh, Steven says, no, the one that looked like a bow to do the body sides. I know what you're talking about. No, I never finished that. I was slacking on the 3D design process. Yes, thanks for reminding me about that though, because that's gonna. Now that I remember, I totally forgot about that. Jay Hammer says you should have tried an 8x8x7 portable shed. I'll have to look into those too. That might be an option actually, if it doesn't blow away in our wind. Gina says, and I'm surprised it's still there. I figured the top would blow away with that. Oh, it's still all there. It just a couple of the poles came out on one side, so it's like a lean-to. Making Sawdust says to Philip, I'm not sure if it's still a common practice, but professional spray booths sometimes had water that would run down the walls as a sheet. It would drain down through the floor. Interesting. I have not seen that. Huh. I've never actually sprayed in an automotive kind of spray booth. My brother sprays in those kind of things all the time, and I've been in several myself. Been in them, not actually working, but I've not seen one that drains the walls down. But that sounds perfectly. It sounds perfectly reasonable. Philip, okay, making sawdust. Zach says oil-based stains, unsure of the top coat at this point. Cool. Well, there's tons of options. Just do your research and yeah. Do you have other experience using a spray gun? That's something to keep in mind. I don't know if you do or not, but if you don't and you're going to spray, practice. That up on. I'd have to see what it says in my slicing software. It kind of gives a breakdown of the price of at least a filament. I'd have to look at that. Jardell, right on. Sunpackin says, curious, thinking of getting into 3D. Man, it's fun. It really is. And the things that you can make that I don't even think of sometimes. Like, for the longest time, I never even thought of 3D printing these. But, it makes perfect sense. It's, you got the initial investment of a printer, which really, they're not that expensive, especially now. There's so many models out there you can get for a few $100s. and a couple rolls of filament. I'd say the biggest investment for me was the time spent learning how to model these. Now, yes, you can go on sites like Thingiverse and that sort of stuff, and you can download files. There are files for these on there that you can just download and use. But like I've mentioned, before in other conversations, if I'm going to design a part, or if I'm going to plan to possibly sell parts or make them for people, I'm not using someone else's design. I will never do that. There's just something wrong with that to me. If I'm just going to download and print it and make it for myself, 100% not a problem. But like I said, I am considering offering these on the website. I'm using my own design. I don't want to, infringe on someone else's designs, or even if they say it's okay, in their listing, I'm not going to do it. I designed this 100% from scratch, and that, just to be able to get to that point, hours and hours and hours of practice and trying things in the design software. I think that's the biggest investment for me, was just in time. And I purchased a course. I went through a course on designing in Fusion 360. Now, you don't have to use Fusion. You can use whatever design software you want to use, and you'll be able to do the same kind of stuff. I just chose to go with Fusion, and I did a course on it, and then just the hours of learning. Once you get the thing designed, the rest is really not that hard. And so if you're thinking about going into 3D printing, I would definitely recommend just jumping in, give it a shot. It's really fun, and it's pretty cool that the things that you can 3D print, just tool wise. There's tons of little figures and things that you can make, but I always look at it more of what kind of tools, how can I use this to make some tools, to make some jigs, to make some parts. I'm not super interested in making little figures and stuff, but a lot of people do. A lot of people get them to make, little game figures and all kinds of stuff. There's just so many uses you can use it for. Sent back and says, I'm old, might not have that much time. Oh, come on. You can do it. And you may not take you that long. You may just click and you're off and running with the designing. But for me, learning a brand new program that I have basically zero experience with, to be able to learn how everything works, get it set up properly, and how to design. You could design one of these, but the tricky part for me is I try to design everything parametrically. And if you're not familiar, what that is where you can set parameters. Like this right here is a 14-inch radius. Well, I've got my design set up so that if I want a 12-inch radius, I can go into the parameters and change it to 12, and this will automatically change. I don't have to redesign everything. So it takes a little bit more time to design stuff, so that it is parametric, in learning how everything affects everything else. But once you get it done, it saves you so much time. Senpakin says, what are the computer needs for a printer? Honestly, not much. The printer that I have anyway does not even connect to the computer. So let's say you didn't want to design things, and that's totally cool. There's thousands and thousands of models that are available to basically everyone for free on sites like Thingiverse and there's other repositories, is that the word, of 3D models. You can just download the model on whatever computer you have. For my printer, you load it on a little SD card, and then you take that SD card and you put it in your printer, and you call up that model right on the printer, and you hit print. You don't really need any sort of, honestly, you could probably do it on a phone. If you had if you had the thing to plug in a SD card to your phone, I think you could download the models, put it on the SD, and then go straight to your printer. Some printers connect to the computer, mine does not, and as far as computer requirements, you don't really need a whole lot. Where you start needing a little bit more computing power would be if you're doing more of the design stuff. But even then, I don't feel that you need a super high-end computer. Most likely, whatever laptop or whatever computer you have will probably do the job. Making Sawdust says, parametric modeling is awesome. I've used Fusion, SolidWorks, Pro Engineer, and Inventor. Once I grasped everything, it's great. You were right. It is awesome to be able, from one model designed correctly parametrically, you can make any sort of, I can now change, the radius with a couple clicks. I've even got it designed so if I want, a little bit more of an arch, I can change. Actually, it's in the model. This top is an oval, and then this is all. If I want a taller oval, I can just change the top, which will make it a little more curved. I mean, there's so many options. You don't have to start from scratch and redesign everything. Now, yes, you could just design this shape, extrude it out, and you're done. And if you only needed one size, that would be perfect. But trying to build it in where it's adjustable, that's what, that's where I think that's where these softwares really shine, because you can adjust things so much easier than having to say, oh well, I made this too flat, so now I got to redraw the whole thing again. You don't have to do that if you can design it parametrically. Harry says, check out Octoprint for networking a 3D printer. Want to get one myself. I have looked at, and I can see, I think with only having the one printer, I don't think that it's a route that I'm going to take, but you never know. Eventually, maybe we'll add some more printers, and we'll have a little mini print farm. That'd be kind of fun, actually, just to have printers running. And yeah, then I could see the advantage for sure. With one printer, I don't know. I don't think that's the route I'm going to go yet, but I think it is pretty cool that you can network, send it straight to the printer. That part seems pretty cool because it is a little bit clunky, I guess, having to transfer an SD card, But yeah, Octoprint, it does seem pretty cool. Wireless webcam monitoring, all that kind of stuff. Definitely can see the advantage. Making Sawdust, I actually use Onshape now, web-based. Oh, I've not heard of that. I'll have to look. Philip says, I wish I could afford a CNC. Not too big, but something just to do some carving, basically making signs for starters. Philip, I'm with you. I too want a CNC. And depending on what circles you roll with, some people hate them, some people love them. Like I've said before, to me it's just another tool. It's no different than adding a table saw or a bandsaw. To me, it's another tool, and should be used as such. I mean, I want one pretty bad. One day you'll get one, Philip. Epperson, top of the morning. What's up, dude? Good morning. Glad you're able to tune in. Making Sawdust. Hello, Epperson. Sent packing. Is the software expensive, or did I miss that? It depends on the software you go with. I can't speak for really much other than Fusion 360. And right now, I don't know. I keep hearing it's going to change. But right now, you can get Fusion for free. For free. I believe it's under a hobby license. So if you wanted to check it out, you just go in and you can download it. And the other part that's pretty cool is it's from Autodesk, which everybody knows, like AutoCAD and stuff, or is familiar with it. But it's a very powerful software, and there are some limitations with the free version. But however, I haven't encountered any limitations doing the stuff that I'm trying to do. I just I don't know. I don't know what they are even, because I haven't found it yet. It does every single thing that I've wanted it to do, and probably a bazillion other things, but so it doesn't have to be expensive. I suppose it could be expensive if you wanted to purchase some expensive software, but Fusion at least is free. I don't know about what was the other one? Onshape. Check out Onshape. I don't know anything about it, but I don't know if that's free or not. Epperson, hi, Making Sawdust. Philip says, what's the cheapest out for CNC? There's probably some cheaper ones that you could get, like the China, maybe the China eBay machines, but I don't know if I'd trust them 100%. Oops. Let me mute that. If I was going to get, if I wanted to, how do I want to say that? I'd look at, depending on what you want to do, some of the pre-made ones, like the Inventables. What is it? The X-Carve. I've heard mixed reviews on those, but their price, I don't think the price is all that bad. I've talked to some guys that have tried them for guitars, and honestly I can't say that's the route that I would take for me. But if I needed one, but I was looking heavily at them maybe a year or two ago, and they seem like it would do everything you'd want it to do, for signs and stuff like that. And I really don't feel the price is all that bad. Now, obviously I'm not saying that's the one you need to get. That's just some thoughts, not at all sponsored by Inventables, any of that kind of stuff. I think if I'm going to drop the money on one, I think I would go with one of the Avid CNC kits. They seem pretty robust. They're not cheap. They're not the cheapest. I guarantee that. But they're not the most expensive either. And I really think I'm really liking what I'm seeing from their products. And at the moment, if somebody handed me the cash to go buy one, it's probably the route I would go right now. I would go on and I'd pick out one of their packages and order it up. But I don't know honestly what the cheapest one is. Like, I know that there's some pretty cheap, import eBay specials, but I don't know if I'd go that route, honestly. I don't know. Even just to scratch that itch, I don't feel like that's the best option. I don't know. Basically just do the research. Try to reach out, try to find other people that have whatever machine you're looking at, and just try to make an informed choice. I mean, that's all I'm doing. I research stuff. I read on other ones. There's a place out of Australia. Harry Dude, I don't know if you've heard of them. I believe it's Blue Carve. I've heard good stuff about them. My buddy over at Temple Guitars, I think he uses one and has recommended them before to me. We've been in talks. They're pretty reasonable, but I don't know what it would cost to ship a machine over here. To me, that might be a little bit expensive, but it's another one that comes to mind. Epperson says, barely made it, but I'm here. How's everyone doing? What's building today? Epperson, we're finishing. I'm going to be spraying finish on some guitar parts later. See my nice shiny finish? And then, oh, look at that, a run. I got to block sand that out. I'll be respraying some finish. And then I think once I get these parts sprayed and I can set them aside, because they got to cure for at least a week, I think we're going to do something simple. I think I'm going to make like a cutting board or something like that, because this build has been taking most of my time for the last few weeks, and I just want to do something simple. So I think we're going to do a cutting board. At least that's what I'm thinking at the moment. Making sawdust. Onshape is free, but it has an a la carte kind of program. If you need to make G-code for CNC or printer, you'd pay for an add-on package, which is inexpensive. Lots of other add-ons, plans, PDF, etc. Cool. Making sawdust is very much like Fusion. Okay, I gotcha. Different levels. Philip, yeah, I hear you. Just got to build and sell more stuff and save up. Wonder what is the smallest in footprint. I think you can get like 2x2. Maybe even smaller. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But I think you can get a 2x2. I know you can get 2x3s. Just a little 2x2 machine. I want one that's big enough that I can do a 2x2. I probably could do a guitar body. I don't know if I could do a neck without it being at an angle. I want to be able to do guitar parts. So I'd like a bigger one, but I think I could get by with a 2x3 if I wanted to go that route. Philip says 2x4. Yeah, I know you can get 2x4. I'm about 99% sure that on the Avid website you can get a 2x3. Philip, that sounds a good starter. That's what I thought. Unless you had, a bigger, obviously the bigger machines cost more. But I don't want to go too small. I don't think, I personally would go with a 2x2. I think possibly a 2x3 or a 2x4. Probably ideally a 2x4, because to me that seems, it's a pretty good size, really. I think that would do everything that I need it to do, well, for now. Isn't that always the case? You buy a machine and you're like, oh, this is going to work perfect. And then you find out that you just can't do when you should. Epperson says it's officially spring. Spring is here. I haven't done nothing all winter. Now things are starting to pick up. Right on. I am glad to hear that. We will soon be in nice weather, I think. Making sawdust, I'm looking at a 3018 style. Has an approximate footprint of 18 by 24 benchtop. Nice. That sounds awesome. That sounds perfect. 18 by 24. That would do everything. Well, wait. 18 by 24. I don't know. 24 might be a little short. I don't know what kind of space on either end you have. It might work. That sounds like an awesome size. Not too big, not too small. Right on. Hope you get it. Jay says lag. Yeah, I noticed that. It was like, I think it's the weather here, honestly. It's acting weird. Steven says, Onefinity. I don't know. Is that a program? Not familiar with that. Making sawdust, I need to make small stuff, parts for jigs, machines, widgets, and stuff. Working area of 12 by 18-ish. That sounds like a good size. Philip says, I seen where a glimpse inside got a penguin. Looked at their price. There's several of them that I see people getting. What's that orange one? Is it Stepcraft? They're expensive, I think. And I've seen several people getting those recently, and I'm like, I don't think I could. I couldn't justify that. Not at the moment, anyway. Steven says it's an all-screw drive CNC, fairly cheap, and also. Oh, Onefinity, that's the brand. Okay, I'll check it out. All screw drive. That's something that I definitely like. I don't want belts. I want it to be all lead screw. Huh, I'm going to look into that. Onefinity. Gotcha. Hey, thanks for that session. Yeah, one day we'll have a CNC here. Cool. All right. Onefinity. I got to write that down. I guess I could always go back to the comments, but I'll forget if I don't write it down. Okay. Philip says, how many axis on that one, Steven? Epperson, just finished a bench using decals and a wood burner. I'll upload image to the page. Nice. Cool. Did you put decals down and then burn around it and then peel the decal, or other way around? That sounds like a good technique. Steven says it's a 3-axis machine. Yeah. Ooh, that's good coffee. Nice. Right on. Let's see. I'm trying to think of any other CNCs off the top of my head that I would consider price-wise, and I can't think of any brands at the moment. So, yeah, if you guys know of other ones out there, and I'm not looking to buy right now, but hopefully suggestions can help everybody else with their search, because there's an overwhelming number of options out there. There really is. It's just a matter of trying to find a size that works for you in a price range that works for you and an accuracy range that works for you, and there's just so many options. Epperson says I use place the decals. Okay, so you glued them down right to the bench. Gotcha. I gotcha. I gotcha there, man. Cool. What else, guys? What else? What else? Epperson says, anyone see the lady that used Gorilla Glue in her hair? Sorry for going off subject. I did not see that. That sounds terrible. Maybe that's what I should use on mine. Gorilla Glue in there, peel it off. I don't have to worry about getting a haircut. That'd be great. I got geese. There's angry geese out there. Geese are, we have a pond near the house, and the geese, you know, well, pretty much they're here all year round almost. But, you know, the springtime they're pairing up and nesting and all that stuff, and they're always out there honking away. Sometimes they'll go parading through the driveway. I don't know where they're going, but they just come through. It's funny. Epperson says, YouTube it, worth the watch. It sounds like it's not going to end well. I might have to look it up just because. Oh boy, I couldn't imagine that. Alrighty then. Let's see here. Let's see. I don't really have anything else. We are coming up on the hour anyway, so we can start winding this down. Because I gotta get to block sanding this ugly little. Where'd it go? Where is it? Where is it? I gotta get to blocking that out. Darn it. Oh well. Hopefully, I can get all this thing blocked in the next hour or so. Get everything nice and smooth, and we'll get to shooting some more clear on this thing. I'm hoping for at least, if I don't run it, I'm hoping for 2 more coats, and we'll be done. Then we let it cure, and then we're gonna do something easy, like I said. You guys ever get in a very in-depth project, and you finally get it all done, and you're just like, ugh, I'm doing something simple. Am I the only one that does that? Epperson says, I finished it with polyurethane. It turned out great. Awesome. Gina says, ha, I did see that, Epperson. Harry Dude says, that finish looks like my Jackson on the bench right now. Love it. Nice. It kind of does. Somebody said that it looks like fire. And you know what? That's perfect because it does. It looks like, I'm going to call this the lava burst. It's awesome. The grain popped just like I was hoping it would. I'm going to be putting the video out for this. It's not going to be out this weekend because I want to have the polishing and everything, so it's probably going to be out in 2 weeks. I did a brown base coat, and then most of it got sanded off except for what stayed in the grains. And then I did kind of the burst around here, and that's what I was hoping was going to happen. Once the clear hit it, it was just pop, and it surely did. It just looks awesome. You can see it's pretty level right now. It's not perfect, but yeah, it does. It looks like fire flames coming out of there. I can't wait. I'm so excited about this build. Making Sawdust, have a great Wednesday, folks. Thanks for sharing your time with us, Jeff. Thank you, my friend, for tuning in. Stay well up there and stay warm. Thanks for tuning in. Philip, glad I have you guys to help. Always great conversation here. Now I'm ready to build some stuff. That's what I want to hear. fired up, ready to go. Go build something cool and share it with us all. Epperson says she had a bulletproof head. Gina says, have a great day, all. Making sawdust. Great job with Troll Patrol, Gina. Thanks. I didn't even see any. I didn't even see anybody trolling. Did I miss something? Yes, thanks, Gina, for helping out. Right on, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. I got to get to sanding. Stay tuned to see how this ends. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. I look forward to these every week. Thank you. I'm so thankful for those of you that tune in. Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome. Love these. And stay tuned for more. Next week, we'll be over on Facebook. And hopefully, those of you that tune in over there, I'll be looking forward to seeing you. If not, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks back here on the old YouTube. Thanks a lot, guys. Stay well. Stay safe. Get out in your shops. Make some cool stuff. See you next time.